Welcome to Don't Repeat What Mommy Says. Were you going to say it?
I mean, you jumped right in, so awesome.
Well, I'm looking at
Uh,
the camera, not you, because I'm trying not to look like I usually do.
yeah, I'm not looking spectacular today, and I don't even care. It is what it is.
No, I'm not even talking about that, just like looking like a spaz, not looking at the camera, because I can't look
Yeah.
right.
You want to show everybody your mug? You can get your very own Don't Repeat What Mommy Says mug in our store that I will link in the description. So,
And
yeah,
it's
little,
15 ounces, so it holds a lot of coffee. Right? Isn't
yeah,
it 15?
yeah, it's a 15-ounce mug. They're like a good size. We
Mm-hmm.
only have the design printed on the one side, but you'll live.
Well, we wanted to make it affordable.
Yeah, it was going to be much less affordable if we had gone with the double printed design and all that jazz. So,
Right.
for affordability, that's what you get. But it is a nice mug. So,
It is a really nice mug. I like this mug.
yeah,
Of course,
I
if I
like
drink
it.
it with my right hand, you can't see it. I can see it, but then you can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure how to do it. I didn't know if you wanted the logo facing in or out, depending which hand you want it in. So,
Eh,
all right. Well, after that plug, buy our merch.
right?
We are going to be coming out with some exclusive merch too for the book.
We are.
So throwing that in there. Watch the merch website if you want, I don't know, something.
But did we decide what we're doing for the first one?
I don't think we decided on the first. We just talked about a few.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we
So,
should let people pick. Maybe we should put it on the website.
yeah.
Because, the book's Motherhood's a Blood Sport. We were thinking Motherhood's a Blood Sport, let the games begin, or Motherhood's a Blood Sport, I don't have time for a zombie apocalypse. I have to get the shopping done.
Yeah, and it's going to be on a tote bag.
Right.
So,
It's not a zombie apocalypse book. It's just something she says
it's just
in
a
the
joke
book.
that's made in the book. So, definitely read the book because it's funny. I mean, it's not a
Well, it's not funny,
comedy,
but
but
there are
there's
funny
funny
parts.
bits.
There's
Yes,
funny bits.
it's not a comedy. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So, speaking of our book, I think that's a good jumping off point. We're going to talk difficult situations in parenting. And if you read the book, Norma goes through a lot of them.
She
So,
does.
I'm going to let
Poor
you.
Norma. She's having a rough life.
Yeah. So, I think when it comes to difficult situations, they're definitely going to be different magnitudes depending how old your kids are. It's like
Well,
my
and
kids are little, so
and the thing is, whatever difficult,
difficult.
whatever difficult situation you're in, don't downplay it because it is difficult for you right now. Even if you're like, oh, but Myrtle down the road has it much worse than I do. It doesn't. If you're just dealing with teething, which is like a normal thing, it is the most important thing because man, it's rough. It's rough. It's difficult. And people
It's
give you
rough.
stupid advice, like just put some brandy on their gums. They make Orajel. I'm not sure why we're still brandying up the babies.
I
But
saw
the
somebody
elders
talking
are always going to
about
tell you, yeah, go ahead.
they took, I don't remember if it was cow or pig, but they took the trachea of the animal and
Okay.
like dehydrated it into a teething ring for their kid. I'm like, you're just giving your kid rawhide?
Did
I
it
mean,
work?
I don't know, but I don't know. I don't want to do that.
Hey,
So, no
remember the
thank you.
lady in the mom's group who gave her kid an orange when they were having a temper tantrum?
Yeah, Janina.
Okay, guess what? I was
It
just
wasn't for a
watching.
temper tantrum. It was for biting.
Oh, okay. So, well, anyway, I was at the doctor's office with Paige and Aaliyah 2 days ago, and they had
Mm.
this whole thing on about how to deal with your child's temper tantrum because they're like, temper tantrums are a normal part of childhood, sucky as they may be. Um, Especially between ages 1 and 3. I think 1 and 3 or one and 4, something like that. And they said, they become less often when they get older, for most. Uh,
Hopefully.
for most, yeah. And one of the tips was offer them a banana or an orange. And I just thought of that.
Yeah, so
So
it
I
was
don't know if it
Janina.
works, but give that a try.
She's actually the network owner of all the moms managing groups on Facebook. Super good groups if you want to check them out. I know we've talked about them before.
We have, and I really like her. But yeah, I never
Yeah.
heard the orange thing before, and then they had it right there on the little monitor when they were talking about tantrums, and I was like, hey.
Yeah, so her thing was freezing a whole orange, like wash it, freeze it, skin on and everything. When your kid bites, you hand him an orange and go, biting's not nice. And I don't know why, but she claims it works. Um,
But apparently it works for tantrums too.
I think a lot of times tantrums, like, you can break the tantrum by just giving your kid a snack. Because I've had Henry, like, losing his noodle some days, and it just turns out like he was hungry. And
Yeah,
they
that's
don't
what.
always verbalize well.
Or sometimes they don't even know they're hungry.
Yeah,
You know what
because
I
I know
mean? Like
some
they're
days,
just miserable and everything's making them mad. They don't know why. So too.
yeah. Because they're two, and then like I made him, I don't know, a peanut butter and jelly, and he ate the sandwich and was great. And same with Ava. She's gonna be 11 months old, but it was like a couple weeks ago. She was just terrible all day. Nothing was working. I gave her a piece of toast. I let her sit down and eat a piece of toast, and then she was fine. So,
Well, your sister to this day, if she starts getting stupid, we just give her food.
it really
31 years
pertains
old,
her.
it works too. I mean, she doesn't throw a tantrum, but if she's getting grumpy, usually if we give her food, it's like, I'm not sure if she's hypoglycemic and they just never caught it or what, but yeah, it works for adult children too.
So tantrums are definitely a difficult
Yeah.
situation with kids. With one thing I have of like criticism of kind of the gentle parenting thing, and I don't know that it falls under the umbrella of like true gentle parenting because it gets really misconstrued online, is people will try to talk to their kids through a tantrum.
Mm.
And I saw one lady, I think her name's Emma Hubbard. She's an occupational therapist. She works with kids. She's like, when you try to talk to a kid through a tantrum, you're just making it worse. Because when they're in tantrum mode, the thinking part of the brain has gone totally offline. They are in fight or flight. And if it's my kid, he's choosing fight. So,
Right, and then it's just overstimulating. You're
yeah, it can
talking
be
to them,
really
they're not
overwhelming.
listening to anything. They don't know what you're saying, they don't care. They're upset, and they want everybody to know it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, definitely something to keep in mind. That woman's recommendation was basically like, if you can, if you're at home, like, put your kids somewhere safe, let them have their tantrum, just don't pay mind to it. She was saying, like, if your kid seems receptive to it, you can try to give them a hug or whatever, but for some kids, you just being there makes the tantrum worse.
Mm.
She's like, in public, it's a little trickier. So with tantrums in public, she's like, I'd take them back out to the car, but eventually the tantrums get less and less. I think the less you pay mind to it.
Well, and sometimes you can do the redirect. Like sometimes when Henry's getting crappy and he's over here, like I'll tickle him or something, and then he forgets he's upset. It doesn't always work though. It
Yeah.
really kind of depends on why he's having a tantrum. Usually, if he's like having a tantrum because he's tired, like if I play with him or something, he might, redirect from it. But then there's other days where he just wants to throw a tantrum.
So, yeah, and I mean, that's
Not much.
definitely a problem with littler kids. But then other difficult situations, sibling fights. Man, they start early. I was not ready for that.
Mm.
Because you have to, like, on the one hand, they're both your kids. On the other hand, like, you can't kick your sister in the face for touching your toy. So,
I didn't get too involved in your guys' fights. Really? Did I? I don't remember getting too involved in it. I mean, obviously, there's 3.5 year age difference, so until you were big enough, you know, to
right.
hold your own, I had to make sure that, your sister didn't do something stupid. But um, I didn't really engage too much in it. They had the stupidest fights, and I'd just be like, what? I don't care. Like
Yeah.
your
So, I
sister with
mean,
the,
I'm not
I'm
telling
not
on
going to
her.
tell. And I'm like, what's your problem? Something about her finger. I was like, are you going to live or what? I mean, so I kind of
Yeah.
let them fight it out. But to be fair, they weren't super violent with each other, so I didn't have to worry about somebody like losing an eye. So I just didn't really get too involved in it unless they got too incredibly stupid. Then I'd tell them to knock it off. But
Yeah, and I've like for the most part with my kids, it's just keeping them from physical harm from each other.
right, right, yeah,
Um, but I was watching somebody talking about that with like when you have a new baby, and she was like, I think it's really important because older kids will get upset because why am I always in trouble and the baby's fine? And she's like, discipline your baby as much as you discipline your older child. Like, obviously, that's going to look different. But, like, if your baby smacks their brother with a toy, you go, no, you don't hit your brother, sort of thing. And I do that with Ava, too. I mean, she is old enough to understand no at this point, but
right.
it's still a lot of, like, you can't smack your brother in the head while he's on the potty. Like, not cool. So,
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
yeah. So, what are some other difficult situations?
I mean, what do you want? Like, you want natural disasters? Do you want
Well,
health problems? I mean, we've been through it all.
natural disasters might be a good one to start with.
Yeah, natural disasters. As a mom, you really got to be prepared for your kids to do something stupid during a natural disaster because you always have at least one kid who isn't going to listen to what the plan was. So we had a flood and we had to leave, because it was getting ugly. And the water was about hip high on me. My kids were pretty little, but it wasn't over their head yet. But I was like, okay, look, we gotta go. We gotta walk through this water. Uh, Make sure you hang on to me because I was holding a bag of stuff and the dog. So I was told them they had to hang on to me because the current from the river could sweep you up. But you couldn't see the river from where we were, so Paige apparently didn't believe me because she is the kid that always had to learn the hard way. So we're walking, and of course she let go of me and almost got swept up by the current that I told her about. But I was prepared because I know that she's that kind of kid. So I did grab her before she floated away. So just be prepared for your kids to not listen because it's like you always have that one. It does like they just don't get the impending sense of danger. Like no matter how much you stress it, they're like, "Wow, no, it's fine." So,
Well, and so my little tidbit of advice, if you move somewhere really far away from where you grew up, educate yourself on what kind of natural disasters you need to be prepared for.
yeah, yeah.
Um, because it never even occurred to me we should have a plan for wildfires.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think I was pregnant with Ava still. I'm not sure. I was going to
Yeah,
I
when
can't
they
remember
have
if
the
I
big
was
wildfire.
yeah, I can't remember if I was laying Henry down or getting him up, but I opened his curtains and there was just smoke. Like all I could see, I thought the neighbor's yard was on fire. There was so much smoke, it looked like it was that close. Um, so, I'm like, I'm not going to stick around and find out if they're going to start evacuating people. So I just packed him up and left. But I had no idea that was something to even be worried about. Like, it never crossed my mind to have a plan for what if there's a wildfire that's coming towards our house. And this one was. Thankfully, it never made it this far down the road. Um,
Right,
but
because
like,
where we came from, there wildfires weren't a thing.
they weren't really a thing. And now
It
we
was
live out west where
tornadoes.
it's dry. So,
Right. So
yeah.
yeah, I had to reroute coming home because of a wildfire before.
Yeah, and I was like tearing through the safe trying to make sure I had like Henry's social security card and his birth certificate and like anything we might need in case our house did go up in flames. And it was a mess because documents were all over. So now I have like a folder in the safe. Our safe is fireproof for like I think an hour or something. Um, but I have it right there. So if we ever do need to get out again in a wildfire, like I've got the plan. I know the ways we can get out of, from where we live, and I can just grab everything and get right out the door. But that was one of those moments where it was like I was wholly unprepared for it and it was kind of scary. So,
I mean, if you get a sick kid, like that's a difficult situation, regardless of what kind of sick. I mean, it could just be the common cold, and it's difficult because your kid doesn't feel good, and nobody gets any sleep, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Down to serious illnesses where that requires researching doctors, researching the illness, like all of those kinds of things that can get tricky. Um, And I just think, I mean, we're moms, we're resilient, we figure it out. But those are some things that can come up. But another really difficult one when you believe in raising your child one way and your spouse has a different idea in mind.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
So I want to kind of circle back a little bit to sick kids. So we did a whole episode on it. I can link that in the description. But um, I think one of the difficult situations with a sick kid is you don't want to scare your child,
No.
but you're scared. And it's okay. And I think as moms, a lot of times, like we put on a brave face and stuff, it's okay to have those people that you can talk to, that you can be vulnerable with, so that you can be brave for your child and still have somebody else you can kind of lean on, like your husband or your best friend. It's somebody you can call and be like, I am so frustrated with the doctors, or I'm so worried because I don't know what's going to happen. So,
Well, I
difficult
mean,
situation.
I threatened to murder a doctor in front of your sister, so
Yeah.
there was that.
I mean, and I know there are some parents who break down in front of their kids. That
I
would not be
didn't.
me.
I didn't do
Um,
that. I did, however, snot cry for an hour on some poor renal nurse at the children's hospital after Paige fell asleep.
well,
So
and
there was
Paige's,
that, poor guy.
was it Paige's C-section when that nurse told you to get it together?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because I
Yeah.
knew she was going to die. So we talked about it in the paranormal episode. I have premonitions. And so when she was little and she got ill, I had a premonition that when she had a baby, she would die. So I've always known that if she has a baby, she will die. So I couldn't watch the movie Steel Magnolias after she gets sick because, if you've watched the movie, Julia Roberts has the baby. She doesn't die giving birth, but she dies later as a result of her kidneys failing because the pregnancy was hard on her kidneys. Well, my daughter has a kidney disease. So I couldn't watch that movie after that. Before that, it was one of my favorite movies. So she ended up having to have the emergency C-section, and I was her person. But you're not in there until they get them all prepped. So I'm in this little room by myself, and I know my child is gonna die. Like I just know that. And the nurse comes in to get me, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, my daughter's gonna die." And she goes, "Well, she needs you. You need to get it together." And I was like, "Okay." And I straightened up and put a brave face on and went in there and we did the thing. But she did die momentarily. Like she's not
They
dead.
got her
She's still
back.
alive. They got her back, but after the whole kerfuffle and everybody was relatively okay, that nurse says, "I'll be damned if she didn't die. You were right."
Yeah, so I think that's definitely a difficult situation in parenting. And not everyone is going to be in that situation. Most people are never going to be in that situation with their
Thank God.
kids. But,
Thank
like,
God.
you're looking at what you think could be a grim prognosis, and now you have to pull it together because you have to be there for your kid. Man, that is hard.
I mean, I've been doing it for so long that I really can pull it together like before
And
your eyes. I don't know
I
how.
really can't speak from experience on that. Like, I've not really had the point where I was like,
And I hope you never do.
I hope I never do. Like, when we took Henry to the children's hospital and we were worried about him, he was little enough, he wouldn't have understood if I was upset and crying about it. You know? He was
I don't know.
four,
You
five
would
months old.
you would be surprised. Kids can pick up on how you feel, even that
Yeah.
little. They can. I mean, I'm not crapping on a mom who can't hold it together, who just starts crying. Like some people cannot control their emotions like that. I'm pretty dead inside when I want to be, so I'm like really capable of disassociating from my feelings because I have to.
The way you said dead inside, I thought I'm laughing on the inside.
Right. I'm not an overly emotional person to begin with. I'm pretty stoic most of the time. Like I don't really I'm really good at poker. I have a really
Yeah.
good poker face. It doesn't mean there's not stuff underneath, but I really am capable of putting it aside or stuffing it in the basement or whatever until it's a safe time to go deal with that, which usually I don't deal with it.
Well, and like sometimes the difficult situation you're in isn't necessarily that that situation's difficult. It's that there's been so much crap leading up to it, and that's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
a few nights ago, I was at the breaking point. Like, kids were horrible all day, everyone's being mean. It was like an hour to bedtime, and my husband goes, I think you need to come in here. I walk in, there's cat puke over the whole bed. So I'm pissed. I start ripping pillows off, ripping the sheets off. I'm going to do the laundry. And then I start looking for the fitted sheet 'cause we have an extra sheet. I couldn't find it anywhere. I broke down. I was sitting on the edge of my naked mattress, just sobbing. And my husband comes in and he's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I can't take another thing." So, I mean, sometimes it's not just one situation. Like, not being able to
Well, I
find
mean,
the
I'll
fitted
do
sheet.
that. I've had that happen too. So yeah, for the day-to-day stuff, when there's been too much, yeah, I'll get really emotional and stupid and like can't handle it.
Right, like in a crisis, you are the go-to,
I
but too
am.
much little shit niggling through the
Yes,
day,
yes.
just,
Right.
oof.
Yeah, it's like the day-to-day stuff. I'm like, I'm fair to Midland as a mom. Like if there's like an earth-shattering crisis, I'm just like on it. It doesn't bother me. I don't seem phased. I just handle it. But that's when I'm in my element. But like the little stupid shit, man, I'm like, oh my God, really?
Yeah, and I mean, I think the mom burnout is very real.
It is
And
real.
for some moms, I think they probably handle it better, or they have better, like, coping mechanisms already in place to deal with it. But I
Yeah.
know it's like a week or two ago, my husband got home, we ate dinner, and then I was like, all right, I'm leaving. And he was just shocked. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I'm at the breaking point. I need half an hour with no kids. And I left. I went to the dollar store. I bought milk. Like that was my big hoopla. But I think that's a thing that comes up a lot, especially with moms of very little kids, like under 5, because you just get so little time where they're not constantly around you.
I think I was pretty okay then. It was like the teen years. Jesus. Like just the dumb shittery all the time and the like extreme emotions. Like, I mean, we were a house full of women. There was a lot of PMS, a lot of PMS, and it was like a tsunami of PMS when it happened, and it like everything was a drama. It was just like, oh my God, like, ooh,
Well,
yeah,
but
that was hard to deal with.
prior to the teen years, in the little years, you did work. Not a ton, but you worked.
Yeah,
And you did have a girls' night every so often.
I did every month.
So, like, you did have those built-in mechanisms where
I
you
did.
kind of got some time away.
Well, there was
Um,
one time I was supposed to go out the next day, but you guys were just pissing me off all day. I don't even know if they were pissing me off or if I was just sick of being a mom. Like, I know that people never talk about this because they feel like they're a bad mom, but I assure you every mom has felt this way, like a caged friggin' lion. Like, why am I doing this? Like, just trapped, you know? And that's how I was feeling that day. And Dad and I worked different shifts, so we didn't communicate a lot. And my husband and I are not people to keep in touch with each other during the day. Like, if he calls me, I know someone died. Like, we don't,
yeah,
we just don't do that. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to call him and be like, oh, I've had the worst day. Like, he doesn't give a shit and I don't care to tell him. That's just how we work, how we are. If you're not that way, great. Good for you. I'm glad you communicate. Um, Not our way. But I had had enough, so I got a babysitter. I didn't leave a note for my husband because I suck. Like I really like I should have been the man in the relationship or something with some things because, like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I just do what I want to do when I want to do it. I don't give a shit. Like that's just
right.
how I am. I'm sorry. But anyway, so I got a babysitter. I didn't leave a note because I figured he would know I went to go do something when he came home to a babysitter. It's not like I left the young children home alone. And I went out. And I came home at whatever time and he was already asleep or whatever. But there's like a note on the mirror in the bathroom. I would like to know where my wife was. Blah, blah, blah. So I pretty much just wrote on the other side of the paper, kiss my ass and get over it already, and taped it back to the mirror and went to bed. But anyway, he was mad because I didn't tell him and yada yada, didn't leave a note. And I was just like, well, I mean, there was a babysitter here. I had enough of your children. They're bad. And I left. Like, I got
Yeah.
a babysitter, But anyway, so since, like, this was early on in our marriage, so I learned since then, like, okay, maybe I should leave a note because he's really sensitive that way.
He's really sensitive.
And I know the other moms out there are completely judging me because I know that they don't think that's okay, but yeah, I wasn't very considerate at the time, I
Yeah,
guess.
but
I was very used to being on my own. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not a togetherness people, and my first marriage sucked. So we were separated most of our marriage. So, and we worked different shifts. So it wouldn't have occurred to me that that would be the responsible, considerate thing to do because I was so used to just doing whatever because I was the only one there most of the time. But
well, yeah, and I think it doesn't get talked about enough because, yeah, I think all moms have those days where they're like, oh my God, why did I do this? Because I said that this morning on the phone.
yeah, you say it a lot, actually.
I say it a lot. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you
I
do.
really,
I can't with these people.
all they do is
They do
cry.
cry a lot.
They
It's
cry and they
bad.
never
It,
sleep.
it,
And then
it's pretty bad, yeah.
Ava really wants to sleep, but Henry doesn't, and their room shares a wall that's very thin, so nobody sleeps, and they're all
Yeah,
miserable.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
These are rough times for her right now.
they're really rough times. It's gonna be okay.
I mean, it'll be
I
fine. They grow up.
They grow up at some point.
And then
I'm
you
gonna
can't
send them
wake
to
the little
school.
people up. It's time to get up for school. Eee.
I don't wanna. Well, to Henry's credit this morning, we told him last night he had this toy that Andy gave him, like new toy, and he wanted to bring it to bed. I told him it can go on your nightstand, but you cannot touch it until the sun's out. By God, if he didn't get up at the ass crack of dawn to play with it, but he technically didn't wake up until the sun was out, so I can't complain. He did listen. He has no concept of time, so
So my aunt and uncle, when we used to spend the night there, because I have cousins around my age, um, their rule was nobody could leave the bedroom till 8 o'clock in the morning.
okay.
So like you could wake up whenever, but don't you dare come out of that bedroom until 8 o'clock in the morning. And so you could come out at 8 in the morning and you could go get yourself a reasonable amount of cereal. And she had measuring cups because she was serious about her reasonable amount of cereal. And I always thought it was because she was worried about everybody getting fat. But we talked about it like since I was an adult. And she's like, it was in a recession. Like we only had so much money. The cereal had to last. So, so a reasonable amount of cereal you could have between 8 and 9. But between 8 and 9, you could be out of your room eating your cereal. But you damn well better not wake them up. After 9 o'clock, you could commence being a child and being annoying, but not until then.
Yeah, and I've gotten Henry. So we have that one of those electronic picture frames, and we have it on a schedule. So at 8 o'clock at night, it shuts off. It doesn't come back on until 8 o'clock in the morning. We did that when I was pumping for Henry, so that I didn't have a bunch of extra light in the living room when I came out to pump.
Mm-hmm.
But we've just left it. But I've started telling him like, okay, you can be up now, but like we're gonna be calm, and I'm not making breakfast, and we're not like it's my turn to watch TV until the picture frame turns on. Because he'll come up and just immediately be like, "Can we watch Super Kitties? Can we watch Blippi?"
Miss
No,
Rachel?
like your turn is after the picture frame turns on. So,
Yeah, so good rules. Like have those good rules in place so that you can deal with a tough day. You got to have your downtime before you deal with that tough day.
and before a difficult situation arises, if you know it's something that could happen or is likely to happen, like a fire or a tornado, I don't know, and you have toddlers, you know, big enough that they're going to fight you to get away because they want to do what they want and they don't understand there's a problem, practice what to do in those situations with them. Because I started doing that with Henry just a few days ago. We were outside and I heard coyotes. And I told him, we have to go in like right now. And he didn't want to. He threw a big fit. So after we got inside, I talked about it, and I was like, when I say go inside now, it's because there's a problem. You need to run to the door. And we've been going over it day after day since then, several times a day. If I say go inside, what do you do? And he goes, run to the door. So then the other day we got home, it was windy, like super windy. And he usually tries to help me get Ava out of the car, but I'm like, no, just go straight to the door, like go inside, because I don't want you getting smacked with the car door when the wind blows. And
Yeah,
he
because
goes, what
that
do
is
you.
a thing out here.
It is a thing out here. I was pretty sure I was going to go into early labor with Henry because I couldn't get my car door open without using all of my bodily strength one day. um, so I told him, I'm like, I want you to run to the house. And he goes, run to the door. And he started sprinting to the door. And like, it wasn't an emergency situation at that point. It was just, I didn't want him in the way and getting smacked with a car door. But I was so proud for that moment of like, he actually listened the first time.
Yeah, that's nice.
So practicing those, like, what do we do if, with like littler kids, and just the repetition of this is what we're gonna do if.
But I mean, it's same with older kids though too. Because
Yeah,
I'm big on having a plan for everything, and everybody should know what the plan is. Because if something happens, it doesn't mean you're going to follow the plan exactly. But when you have a plan in mind, you're much more likely to be calm because you're thinking about that next step. It really is something that you should do and you should practice with your children, even when they're older. Everybody should know what to do in case of a house fire. Everybody should know what to do in case of whatever natural disaster could happen in the area you live. Everybody should know what to do if, God forbid, somebody breaks into your house. You should know what to do. Like in her case, she lives out in the country. Like if a wildlife situation, like you see a big kitty come into the yard, let's not pet that kitty. Let's get into a building somewhere because we have mountain lions.
yeah. So we talked about that with Aaliyah. We played, like, when they first moved out here, we played rattlesnake sounds. Told her, like, if you hear this, like, step back very slowly. You need to get away, but you need to be calm. And we talked about if you see a mountain lion, you need to get in a building. Even cows. I know people think, like, oh, it's just a cow. More people are killed by cows every year than by sharks, like by a
Well, sure.
large margin. Cows can be extremely dangerous, and the cows out here are not dairy cows.
Right.
They're beef cattle. They're
And they're
not
kind
being
of
handled all the
wild.
time. They're pretty wild.
Yeah, they're not.
And
I mean, they're not around people a lot.
right, so they can kill you. And we've had cows because Wyoming's a fence out state. So if a cow gets on your property, it's your fault for not having a better fence. So we've had cows get on our property when we've had the gate open.
Mhm.
Um, and it seems like it should be something harmless, but they can be extremely dangerous. So we've talked with
Oh
the
yeah,
kids,
I've
like,
been charged by bulls at work just trying to get into work.
yeah.
I mean, I
I
get I
know
get in the car like I'm not gonna mess with a bull.
now when we had our donkey, I used to bring him on a leash to lead the cows out of the yard because cows really like donkeys. Not the safest option, um, because you could still get killed by a cow. But I used the donkey as like cow bait to get them out of the yard.
If I, like when it's like mating season or whatever, like or after they just had babies, because those the like juvenile bulls are they are so aggressive, and they don't have any sense at all. If I can't get into work, I make the guys come down with the loader to push them out. There's no other
Yeah,
way. I mean,
well, and
because
we have a lot of the cows that have been in the yard in the past are like mama cows with their babies,
yeah, you don't want to
and they
mess
can
with
get
them.
real nasty.
Yeah.
So even something that seems really minor, like a cow in the yard, could be something where you're like, you need to have your kids prepared for what do you do if. So,
Right, and oh, we were talking about tantrums because that's a really difficult situation. The calming corner thing is becoming a thing. Like people are doing it in their homes now, and I'm all for the calming corner.
yeah, I
Usually
think a
people
calming corner
just,
is great.
yeah, it's just a place where they can go and be quiet, and usually you put like some fidget toys in there or whatever stuff that they can just fart around with until they get themselves calmed down. That I don't think that would really work with a toddler, but if you have a kid that's a little bit older, it can help.
Well, and if you do find yourself in a situation, especially like really young kids, and you are just at the end of your rope, you're overwhelmed, it is okay to put them somewhere safe and walk away for a while. Nobody
Sure.
has ever died from crying for a few minutes while their mom recomposed themselves, so you didn't have to be the lunatic mom.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying I'm never the lunatic mom. I am often the lunatic mom.
Look, I broke a hairbrush once, and your sister needs therapy still. So, I mean,
Like, you didn't even hit her with the
I
hairbrush. You
didn't hit
just
her with the
broke
hairbrush.
it.
I hit it on the wall because I was so pissed off at the kids, and they were not little at the time. They were like, she was like middle school age, and like if you don't have
Yeah.
middle schoolers yet, they're not even people. It's like you got your sweet little baby, and then like they're replaced by these pod people for like 3 or 4 years. Like they're just nasty, mean little people that you do not recognize. So she was in that age range, and she was just being a butthole like all day. Like she just like anything. Like if I said the sky was blue, she's like, no, it's green. It was just like that all day, and I was holding a hairbrush because I was getting ready for work. And I'm like, damn it, I'm tired of you like talking back to me, and I'm with the hands because I'm Italian. And I hit the wall with the brush at one point because I was in the hall and the brush broke. And she's like, to this day, you broke a brush. I'm like, I didn't break it on you. Like,
Right.
like I was just, oh God. She's like, of all the things, this is what she's traumatized over. So yeah, walk away before you got to hear that for the rest of your life. Save
Yeah.
yourself some trauma.
Yeah. It's it's a lot, man. Kids are a lot.
They are a lot, but I mean, you love them, and even when you think you don't really like them too much anymore, but yeah, you got to walk away sometimes, or phone a friend if you can. Like if there's a friend that you can call that can come kind of keep an eye on them for 15 or 20 minutes while you go to the store and pick something up. That's
And
helpful.
I don't think I said this on the podcast. I think it was on a phone call with you and I. But some states are starting to have these things now called crisis nurseries,
Yeah, I like that.
where,
I like that idea a lot.
yeah, you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to give them any warning. You just show up and go, I need however much time, drop your kid off. And they were saying it was somebody who worked at one. I want to say is it in New York? I don't remember what state. It was somewhere East Coast where they had but this lady was saying like some people drop their kids off same time every week like clockwork. Some people only come in once and they never see them again. But the idea was like sometimes you just need a break and you've got no support system.
Right.
So this is a safe place you can, drop your kids off for a couple hours. So if that's available to you, that is awesome. And if you need it, don't feel any shame in taking advantage of those resources.
Yeah, I don't care how good of a mom you are. Sometimes it is just not the day.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's just not the day, and every mom has felt that way. And any mom who tells you that she hasn't is full of baloney. I'm sorry. Whatever, Susie. Your kid's not perfect either, you know?
Yeah.
And neither are you. Like, I mean, sometimes it's like, I just wasn't in the mood to be a mom,
Yeah.
just having needy people all day long. It's a lot sometimes. Sometimes you just aren't in the mood for it for whatever reason. Maybe you haven't gotten enough sleep. Maybe you're having a hormone shift. Maybe you're just, you know, not into it today.
Yeah. So, you know, find what resources you can if you need a break and take that break. It's okay.
Right? Even if it's just going in the bathroom and locking the door for a few minutes.
I've done that too.
Hmm. Amen.
All
Like,
right.
mommy's got tummy issues.
Right. I mean, and men do it too. So, like, if
Men
they can
do it
go hide
every
in the bathroom
day.
for 45 minutes pretending they're
Oh,
taking a dump that whole time, you can take 5 minutes to sit in the bathroom alone.
exactly. And you're not a bad mom. It's
Yeah.
okay.
You're doing good. All right. On that note,
Well,
like, comment, subscribe.